Cool. Okay, my shout out this week is to Travis Kalanick, if I pronounce it correctly, who
Kalanick.
No, Travis.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting next year, according to my
Kalanick, right?
Now that's ISOM's newest product, the High Kalanick. Sorry.
Oops, it was my
Colace
shout
and
out now.
Yeah. Welcome to the healthcare podcast. Kalanick's and Colace.
Joel's Kalanick. No.
I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese podcast.
Oh, yeah. The tide is high, but we're holding on. Hey, kids, it's the Chad and Cheese podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel, honored to take Cuba Cheeseman.
And this is Chad. Daddy's got a new car, so wash.
And I'm Lieven. I really should be doing something else right now. Funny
You have nothing better to do than this. On this episode of HR's Most Dangerous Podcast, Indeed is desperate. ServiceNow is doomsaying, and Jack and Jill, well, they went up a hill, didn't they, guys? Let's do this.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
Back in my place. Got a new car.
Tell us you're recording after St. Patrick's Day without telling me you're recording after St. Patrick's Day.
I can see.
It's 9 a.m. where I am, and I'm particularly looking rough.
I can see you're
European
sweating.
Guys look a little better, and Lieven always looks fantastic. So
I know, Joel.
I know.
In fact, Lieven was like, "Oh, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I had no idea."
Yeah, he's a redhead. I mean, it kind of like it has to have some kind of Irish connection.
Are your kids redheads?
No, and they constantly make fun of me. You're a ginger. I'm so happy I'm not a ginger, etc. Yeah.
That's awesome. Ginger dad.
Ginger dad. So what, on your is it your mom or dad? Like, who has the red hair on your parents' side?
It's on my dad's family. Not even my dad. I mean, someone has, I'm sure, but I probably don't know him.
Some bastard father that was visiting from Ireland or Scotland back in the day.
No, in that case, I would be the bastard now.
Nice. But, so, Chad, you got a car. You got some wheels there in Portugal. That's fun.
Yeah. For the very first time, I think in both of our lives, Julie and I have focused on getting a not practical car. So she wanted a convertible. She wanted something small. I mean, obviously, we live in the Algarve. There's sunshine most of the time. Something where we could let our hair down. That's the joke, kids.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So she did a lot of research, and I said, babe, you go get what you want, right? I mean, I'm the practical guy. I'm gonna get some kind of like SUV or some shit like that, one of those smaller like European SUVs. And she chose
not the Range Rover.
I know,
not the Range Rover.
She chose a Mini Cooper. So Mini Cooper, John Cooper Works Edition is used, but not a lot of miles. And so we'll get it delivered tomorrow, which was interesting because here you can't just drive a car off the lot in Portugal. You can't go give them cash and drive the car off. They have to do maintenance, inspection, all this stuff, even after they've done it before. And then they deliver it to you at your place. And then you have to show proof of insurance before you can actually receive delivery. So really cool. I mean, really cool process.
That's what we Americans call big government. Big government have to get my. So you have a Mini Cooper. What's gas prices like in Portugal these days?
$2 a liter or €2 a liter, and euros are more than dollars, obviously.
Yeah,
and was it 4 liters a gallon?
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. How is the war viewed there in Europe, Miss ungrateful NATO countries that you are? What's the vibe there in Europe? You bastard!
You can't keep taxing us, and you can't keep telling us that we're awful, and then expecting us to come send some ships to liberate the street of what's it called?
Yes,
that's the one. Yeah. Well, we don't play that way now. No.
What John Stewart said: war, the excuse we give Americans to learn geography, because otherwise Americans would have no idea.
Straits of Hormuz. What, is that a club? Yeah. So it's interesting because I've been here. We've been back and forth, living here in Portugal for about 4 years now. And usually Portuguese, they don't really ask much about Trump. They're kind of chill, kind of relaxed. Everybody else does. The Dutch, the Germans. Everybody's like, what do you think about Trump? This is the first time I have actually had Portuguese who I had just met. Usually, I've known Portuguese for a while, for a few years. Then we might have that discussion. But Portuguese that I just met, they just automatically, what do you think of this Trump thing? And so, when you have a very laid back society who kind of like sits back and watches and waits and they're patient, and they're starting not to be as patient, that says something. Yeah. Not to mention it's obviously affecting our gas prices.
Do you feel like as an American, maybe Portugal's different, but that people look at you differently when they find out you're American because of the whole Trump administration nonsense?
They, for the most part, think that I'm here because I hate the fucker in the first place. Okay. So they automatically think you're one of us, right? Yeah. You're one. Okay, we hate that asshole too. So it's almost like a symbiotic kind of like connection right out of the gate.
How about Belgium, Lieven? You guys hate everybody. I assume you hate Americans even more now.
Just the Dutch.
Normally we just talk bad about the French and maybe the Germans a bit. It's still it's history. We used to like the Americans actually, but those days are gone now. I think it will take some time to fix things.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little worried to come to Europe. Not that I'm going to get shot or stabbed or something, but just dirty looks. Somebody spitting in my lager.
Yeah, but that's nothing new.
That's okay.
That's it.
Yeah. I didn't notice any difference in France.
You're so welcome, Joel.
Yeah, you'll still take my money though. You'll still take my money,
of course.
Well, from America, guys, it's a fucked up situation where most of us aren't happy about what's going on.
Yeah,
not even Republicans. I read even
Republicans mostly are, which is so there's a split in MAGA. Trump ran on no more wars, no more forever shit, no more Bush, no more neocon, and psych. We're back at war. So there's for certain a split in some of the Republican Party. But if you look at polls, Republicans are 80% in favor of this, like 3% of Democrats. But then you have the independents, which are largely like 60, 70% anti what's going on.
And when are those midterms?
November.
That will be interesting.
Yeah.
It will be interesting. And if they haven't wrapped this sucker up by then, it's going to be really, really bad.
He's trying this whole Save America Now Act, which is more of a rigging of the election. So we'll see how that goes.
Well,
and Cuba's messed up.
That would be a problem.
Cuba is like straight out of the 19th century. We're just taking them.
Yeah.
I'm honored to take your country. Thank you very much.
What is Cuba doing wrong these days?
They're
maybe
communists.
50 years ago with putting some missiles from Russia.
They're dirty Castro-loving communists. Is what
sovereignty means nothing anymore, Lieven. Sovereignty means nothing.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Sorry.
No.
The whole Venezuela thing I thought was kind of on the limit, but it was a nice operation from a military point of view.
The Iranians would be Venezuela 2.0.
And he was going to score.
Not even close. Yeah. Turns out China doesn't like it if you take two of their biggest oil resources away from them.
We'll see.
Yeah, we don't need you, Europe. Please help us. Which
the good news is I'm sure this is the last time we'll talk about it on the show.
Yeah. Oh, let me put this out there though. Epstein files. Epstein files. Go ahead.
Let's get the shout outs.
Is it time for shout outs? Here at the Chad and Cheese Podcast, one thing that we love is obviously you watching, but also like and subscribe.
Okay, so I want to shout out. I wasn't on last week's show. I was listening to last week's show, and I want to give a shout out to JT and you going head to head last week over the Juice Box over Juice Box. Go ahead and run that tape real quick.
I've seen this movie twice at least. It doesn't end well for Juicebox, and it's not going to end well, prediction, for their investors. This is going to crash and burn. It may take a while, but there's no future in this company.
Do you remember this company called MySpace?
Yep.
Do you remember how everybody thought MySpace will be around forever and it'll be the only platform? This is the very real problem LinkedIn has right now. LinkedIn is the only one of its type where everybody's sitting on there. You know who can't stand LinkedIn? The younger generation.
They're not going anywhere else.
Yet.
They're not going to Boom Band.
Yet.
They're not going
Yet.
to Polywork.
If I can be on social or be anywhere and share what I know and what I do, and AI is now sophisticated enough to go out there, it is going to find me, and I'm not on LinkedIn. And by the way, I'm not putting on LinkedIn what I'm putting in other places. Mm-hmm. So do they have a huge road ahead of them? Absolutely.
These guys aren't the next LinkedIn. They're the next people finder.
So I want to give you both a shout out for hitting both sides of this argument, but I tend to lean heavily toward their toast side. But you forgot one very big aspect of the argument. And that aspect is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So FCRA. Eightfold is currently getting sued for candidate profile enrichment, which Juicebox also does, which means they're adding unverified information to a candidate's profile without getting the candidate consent, right? So if the courts rule against Eightfold, they're literally creating a credit report and Juicebox is dead on arrival, right? Yep. So shout out to trying to hit every angle of this. It is so hard these days, but I love watching you and JT going back and forth on that one.
Yeah. Lieven, do you have a side on the death of the resume argument?
Nah, not really. I think it's going to stay alive for quite some time, but we'll see. No, they've been predicting the death of the resume since ever the internet came along, I think.
Yes,
and it's still there.
Well, it's always great when three old white guys can agree on something.
Get off my line, you no good punk.
I want to see what the courts have to say. After that, it's a done fucking deal.
Yeah. Man. By the way, the Workday trial is moving forward. The Mobley Workday, not a topic, but we'll be watching that one as well. My shout out goes to our boy Alexander Chukovski. A couple things with him. When the old guys get together, we usually talk about like, where are the new voices? Where are the kids? Why aren't they speaking up and talking about this shit? And Alexander, my first love for you is that you're one of those younger guys that's kind of talking about the stuff that I'm too tired to sort of research and talk about. And the second part of the shout out is, he had a great post recently about, I guess, the integration tools, the ATSs, the API connector business being under siege by AI. And Chad, I know you and I, Lieven, you work with a lot of startups. One of the first advice that we give them is like integrate with as many ATSs and platforms as possible. And most of them end up going to Merge, and some of the others. Combo just got a ton of money to solve this problem, to get their integrations into these ATSs. Yeah. Alexander has a great post saying that vibe coding and just basically having the tools through natural language to code these things is coming. Yeah, basically making the connector tools irrelevant or much less valuable than they were before. He talks about companies like Merge and JobSync, which are starting to pivot away from sort of that core business, the integration side of things. I think we're seeing this play out in some of the vendors. We talked about, Textio becoming Lavalier, Jobcase recently launching AI tools, et cetera. So it's going to be interesting as more and more of these connector companies pivot. What do they do outside of that? And will this vibe coding integration thing really take off? But hats off to Alexander for doing really good work, doing some of the digging that I'm too old and tired to do anymore. And I love it, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. I appreciate you.
Nice.
When I spoke to Rebecca and Sharon from Smart Recruiters, they now have the backing of SAP, right? And they had 120 engineers actually pushed over from SuccessFactors to Smart Recruiters. And using some of those engineers, they're actually looking at building AI versions of those connectors themselves. And that's not just for Smart Recruiters, right? And the front end of the funnel side of the house. That's all the way down through the business applications of SAP.
Yep.
That's fucking big. So I agree with what Alexander has to say, but you're also, I think, going to see some of these bigger ecosystems build their own and or acquire and then start to expand.
Yeah, and not even the large ones. I think, you and I advise some companies that they're putting features in much more quickly than they used to because they can easily vibe code these things in. So I think you'll probably see a lot of platforms start to put in integration tools and just like, hey, push this button and get your stuff on all the ATSs and other platforms. So yeah, interesting times we live in. Yeah. Interesting times.
Well, and think about uptime, right? If it takes 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it takes to actually get an organization integrated into your system, one of the reasons why companies don't change applicant tracking systems or any type of core platforms is because of the time it takes to be able to get their data mapped over to get all this shit integrated into a system. If you can take that from, let's say, 6 months to 3 weeks. Oh, fuck yeah. The change, the cost of change goes down dramatically. And then all of those platforms were just old and cranky and they're like, you got to stay with us because the cost of change is too much. That goes away.
Absolutely. The only reason why we don't change is because it's just such a hassle to change.
Yeah. You take that reason away, that excuse away, and then next thing you know, you're hopping girlfriends like Cheeseman in high school.
Easy now. Yeah, you're using the word girl. Pretty good. You don't want to stay, Ron. And I do think so. The HR tool or the tools for HR are going to be much more susceptible to getting heard because let's agree, no one in HRTA is going to be like vibe coding integrations and shit, but like a startup, a vendor, someone on the vendor side will vibe code and make those features available.
And even we use those vibe coding stuff because I know how to program in Python a bit, but I'm slow and it takes too much time. So if I needed a prototype or if I needed some data mining tool or whatever, I asked IT and then it took 6 weeks because those people have better things to do than delivering whatever I come up with that day. Yeah. And now just by vibe coding, I can do it in a few hours. That's amazing. And I use mostly Manus.ai. I'm not sure if you know it. It's an agent which was recently bought by Meta, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's really good. It can even produce a website based on just a few lines of code I give it. And it comes up with a whole website to present whatever I wanted to present. It's amazing. Okay. But vibe coding.
Lieven, trust me when I say what you say is the most important thing in your organization. They don't ignore what you're talking about, which is why we're going to you for shout outs. What you got?
Cool. Okay. My shout out this week is to Travis Kalanick, if I pronounce it correctly, who
Kalanick.
Travis.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting next year, according to my
Kalanick. Right.
Now that's ISIM's newest product, the High Kalanick. Sorry.
Oops, it was my shout out now.
Yeah. Welcome to the healthcare podcast. Colonics and Colace.
Joel's Kalanick. No. So my shout out goes to Travis Kalanick, who, after making life of taxi drivers miserable by launching Uber, is now coming for basically everyone else. And he is doing it by launching Atom, which is a company constructing not humanoid robots, but specialized industrial robots.
Yep.
And those have been around for decades, of course. Yeah. But these are kind of new because they are totally deployable. You can put them wherever you want. They're mobile. You can vibe code them. Normally, a robot has to be programmed using whatever language they use, but it took a lot of time and very specific knowledge. Now you can just talk to the robot in plain English. Or if it's a very sophisticated robot, you can talk to it in Dutch. So if it's an elite robot. But
very sophisticated.
Yeah, they use all the knowledge they have using large language models. So they know basically everything. They are context aware. They use lenses. They use a camera to look around and they can see the context. They can be used for multiple purposes, and depending on the case, they just change the way they look. So humanoids are nice because we feel familiar to them. It's nice to look at something humanoid, but in most cases, humans aren't the best form. Let's say if you want to flip burgers, it's easier to use 6 arms than 2 legs if you are static. So depending on whatever they were built for, they will look different, but they all have the same knowledge. And if one robot learns something using Wi-Fi, all the others know it too. So these are the perfect employees. So this is interesting because robots, they used to take over some tasks, specific tasks. These robots are just designed to take over complete jobs. And you can use them for one job before noon and another one in the afternoon. So this is, for me, it's kind of, I'm getting anxious about it. This is going to change a lot of jobs, a lot of industries. And if it was only to fill in dangerous jobs, like they're talking about mining jobs, then it's great. And if you can put a robot in a mine and do the dangerous stuff, that's great. But they're also going to do logistic jobs, which are just jobs open to basically everyone. And if those jobs are disappearing, it's going fast. So I'm going to look into it, and I'm sure someone somewhere will be getting very rich. So we'll try to take some part of it. But
they're never doing podcasting, though. They're never going to do podcasting.
They'll never be in our show.
But by the way, until all the robots look like Sydney Sweeney, I'm thinking that it's going to be a long time before it takes off. Make all these things look like her, and robots are going to be everywhere.
That's the easiest thing to do. That's the easiest way to gain.
Almost as everywhere as our T-shirts are just flowing in and out, and all the free stuff at Chad and Cheese. Let's hear about what you can get by signing up.
Hi everybody, it's me, Stephen McGrath, and I'm here to tell you all about how you can grab some free stuff from chadcheese.com. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sitting here topless, and the answer is really simple, because I've not grabbed my free t-shirt from Aeronapp at chadcheese.com yet. Let me fix that. Right, that's better. So I'm sporting a slightly vintage model here, but of course there are new and updated designs every year, and those are super soft, breathable, and some might even say huggable. Now, what else can you get? Of course, you can get some craft beer. It's not just any regular rubbish beer. That's craft beer brought to you by the data geeks at Aspen Tech Labs. And if you're not into beer too much, then... Oh, 2 seconds. I'm just going to get that. Then you can always go for chicken cock, baby. That's right. Not 1, but 2 bottles of chicken cock from the lovely people at Proven Base. Now, you're not going to get any of this stuff unless you go to chadcheese.com/free and get yours today.
I have to come in that I shared a little eye issue that Stephen was dealing with, and I didn't think he'd be as sensitive to my joke about whiskey being spilled into his eye. So,
dude, he was
Stephen,
like blind
I'm sorry,
for 2 weeks,
just clowning around. But I'm happy to say that you're on the mend and you're feeling better. And I will be much more careful with comments that might wreck your fragile state of mind. Guy was like blind for 2 weeks. I wouldn't call that fragile. I'm going to see him next week, though. He's taking a train down to Hertfordshire. That's right, for next week for the RLX, March 24th through the 26th. Joel, I'm not sure these people know what's going to hit them. Steven's going to come down?
Yeah.
Events.
That's exciting.
Where are we going, boys?
For those that don't know, the RLX is a fully hosted 2-day retreat for senior TA leaders, and they're putting them in a room with Steven and I for 2 full days. That's ridiculous. Plus, Natalie Farmer, a foreign legal consultant from Field Fisher, and I will be leading a discussion called AI and Hiring. Legal is panicking, and TA is stuck in the middle. So it's going to be 2 days of nerding out and a lot of scotch. Can't wait. That's next week at the RLX.
Well, it's nice to know that you're ignoring my recommendation of doing a session on QR codes that you went with AI. Like I think that's bullshit, frankly. But you do you, Chad. You do
I
you.
can only submit presentations. I don't accept them. I just submit them.
All right, guys, let's get into topics here real quick. Unless there's some rumors that
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Rumor alert. So I got a little birdie told me, not fully, fledged out yet. But a little birdie told me that Paradox's assessment platform Traitify is being acquired.
Oh,
which is interesting because obviously Paradox acquired by Workday. Traitify was already underneath that Paradox umbrella. Traitify being chunked out of that deal apparently and getting sold off as a part.
Do we know the acquirer? Is that?
I have an idea, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So we're going to sit back. We're going to wait on this one. But I thought I'd kind of leak that out there as a rumor.
Heard it here first, kids. All right, let's get to some of the news this week. Indeed has incentives, everybody, promoting spend matching. Indeed promises to match your current spend on non-Indeed channels. Think LinkedIn. Aggressively promoting your roles, proving that Indeed is good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like them. But wait, LinkedIn says hold my beer because they're introducing AI to manage the initial interview process and screen candidates before moving forward in your interviewing process. It's the cage match du jour, Chad. What's your take on all things Indeed and LinkedIn this week?
Yeah, this is the banana in the tailpipe on both sides of the house.
Oh boy, are you falling for it? Are you going to fall for this one?
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
How do you say LinkedIn is a thorn in Indeed's side without saying LinkedIn is a thorn in Indeed's side? Well, this bullshit
Pepsi
quote unquote
challenge is that
spend matching program. So okay, let's get down to brass tacks on this. To initiate the spend matching program, employers have 3 requirements. Indeed is placing 3 requirements on them. Number 1, they have to provide a source of hire report, which means they want your data. Number 2, that you have to provide existing contract information, which means Indeed wants competitive intelligence. What are you spending with LinkedIn, right? And number 3, they want leadership buy-in, which means Indeed wants to bypass agencies. So yes, if you're a recruitment agency, ad agency, Indeed wants your contacts to try to squeeze you out and take that 15% fee for themselves. They've been doing this forever. They're going to constantly do it. And this is just another way within this match spending, whatever the hell they're calling, kind of scenario. I mean, imagine raising revenues by 15%. I mean, that's what every CRO wakes up every day wishing that they can do. So remember, this basically costs Indeed nothing. And they can get your data, competitive intelligence, and they have an opportunity to bypass your recruitment marketing agencies. And Indeed does nothing for free, kids. This is a Trojan horse to get your data, contracts, and contacts. And to me, it's a show of desperation. And any recruitment ad agency or hiring company who buys into this is a complete and utter fucking idiot. Just my personal opinion. You can't be doing this stuff. They're gonna give you free stuff. It's not free. You're paying for something, and you're paying with your data, competitive intelligence, and your contacts. Give me a break. Come on.
Which sometimes comes off genius, right? Like remember Job Tracker, the app where you would put in, you take pictures of help wanted signs at your local downtown barbershop, and then they would get you get little, you get, I don't know, Steak and Shake gift cards or something, but they get a sales lead. They get like a small business sales lead. So Chad is correct. There is no free lunch, kids. There is no free lunch. They have they have an interest in getting something from you.
You take a look at the LinkedIn interview stuff. Let's move on to LinkedIn.
Sure.
No. Any system like this needs to be directly connected to your system of record. And that's the last thing you want companies like LinkedIn and Indeed to connect to. Why? Well, first, you don't want an Indeed or a LinkedIn to have access to your hiring signals. Period. Right? That's your data. Especially that data. You do not want them to have access to. Plus, the AI needs to train in a silo of specific data to your hiring needs and behavior. So LinkedIn isn't an option, but you should be looking at your core applicant tracking system players and or point solutions to help you scale your interviewing, right? So you should be looking at AI interviewing, but not from platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed. Hiring companies need an expert in this area, and that's not a player that is a big behemoth like LinkedIn or Indeed. That's why, Bright Hire was acquired, right? Those types of platforms who are specifically in that realm, those are the ones you want to look for.
Yeah, so use someone separate until they get acquired by Zoom or LinkedIn or Microsoft or somebody, and then you can give your data to
Zoom makes more
everybody.
sense.
Zoom makes a little bit more sense.
60% of the time, it works every time.
What do you think,
real
Lieven?
quick, Chad, you stole most of my notes from the Indeed thing. Like you and I are like, and we're on the same page on that one. Nothing is free, kids. Call me a jaded American, but there is no free lunch. Indeed wants something from you for this. I do think there's maybe a little more on the desperation side. I don't know how their initiative to get your disposition data is going. I don't think it's gangbusters. I don't think it's been a slam dunk thus far. So to try these different tactics to say, hey, we'll give you something free if we can go in and get your reporting and what's going on there, and then somehow sneak my way in to getting your disposition data. So I'm flipping the budget to that as opposed to what you've been spending on, and maybe that's part of the objective as well. You saw this, I think, as a promotional email in the UK. I don't think we've seen this hit the US shores yet, but if as a lot of our listeners are in the US, you should start looking out for that Indeed special offer to match your spend with Indeed stuff. The LinkedIn, look, this is nothing new. The whole autonomous interviewing, pre-screening, it was just a matter of time before they were going to get into this. They have a history of producing products that are lesser, let's say, than the companies that just focus on one thing. So
yeah.
The jury's out as to whether or not this thing fucking works at all. It should, because they're owned by Microsoft and they have connections to OpenAI and things like that. And I do see some examples of LinkedIn getting better at the AI thing. But this is a big step forward for them to get right. I also think that if they do get it right, it's really bad for the smaller guys. Maybe you and I differ on this. I mean, I think for a lot of companies, if I can do everything on LinkedIn, I'm fine not using other services to provide that. So if they get this right, it's going to be really good for them. And I also think we talked about LinkedIn's recent advertising campaign that targeted SMBs and smaller companies, which they've really been not into forever. They've been executive, knowledge-based type workers. So to me, having this automated tool sets them up to go to some of these smaller businesses and say, hey, look, you don't have a recruiter. You don't have a dedicated HR person that has the bandwidth to handle all this stuff. Let LinkedIn's, robot pre-screen and interview the people that you want to bring in. So I think there's a bit of a small business target in this thing. It's a pretty small test right now. I think you can do 40 a month, 40 of these pre-screens or 40 of these interviews. If it does well, they'll obviously extend that. But that's sort of my take. And if you ever have a startup, if your startup can be replicated by a big company that everybody uses, you should maybe think twice about that startup, unless you know there's someone that's going to buy you. Also, why Paradox timing was great in selling to Workday.
Yes.
Not that they saw LinkedIn being a competitor, but they might have seen LinkedIn being a competitor. Yeah. Lieven, your thoughts on Indeed and LinkedIn this week?
I would love to give my honest opinion on it, but I still want them to sponsor the Congress on October 6th. So
it's happening in October
in Amsterdam. Right. But I need to be careful now because the contract hasn't been signed yet. With a bit of luck, you'll be standing on stage with the some people from LinkedIn and Indeed for the panel discussion. I would love to see that.
That'll work out great for them.
Yeah,
that'll be great for them.
Oh, we could record that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So you don't want to. What can you like? Are you optimistic about these moves? Do you like these moves? Can you give us something?
LinkedIn is doing okay, I think, and it's moving in the right direction. I don't understand why it's taking them so long. I mean, they should be moving, in my opinion, much faster, but they're getting there. Indeed is something else. What they've been doing with ChatGPT is a great move, and they got some integration. I haven't seen the results yet, but I want to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you won't hear me saying lots of positive stuff about Indeed. The way they have been treating us, the whole industry, is disgusting, to be fair. And I was asked to not be too direct about them, so I'll shut up right now.
Okay. Hubris gets everybody every time.
Yeah.
LinkedIn has the luxury of being sort of Apple. They don't have to be first. They just have to get it good enough for everybody to adopt it. And they have, when you say they move slow, it's probably on purpose.
I guess so.
On purpose because
and the testing in the SMB side of the house, because they know that a lot of these tools, these smaller companies, aren't going to have those tools baked into bigger systems because they don't use bigger systems. So to be able to do that from a transactional standpoint, it makes sense. But the jumping into enterprise, which they're gonna need to get into to be able to scale from a total addressable market standpoint, that just doesn't make any sense for a company at all.
I think it'll be really interesting how it unfolds as to more professional level folks getting okay with robot recruiters. Because we've always historically said, well, these hourly jobs, these folks don't have resumes. Like we're just going to give them this chat bot and they're going to be happy about it. I'd say it's not yet decided whether management level and above people are comfortable with robots interviewing them.
We'll get comfortable and more comfortable every day, as Lieven was talking about, having all these robots, physical robots that are around us. Those are more intimidating than the non-physical robots, right? It's more process than it is actual physical robots. So I think these types of things, the actual algorithms that we'll be dealing with that will take more white collar workers, jobs or tasks. Those are going to be adopted much faster and easier just because they're not as menacing. They're not as Black Mirror.
I think voice will be a big step forward to that. I think chatting with text, I think feels a little bit unprofessional, but if you can get the voice stuff right, then that'll be fine. All right, guys, let's move on to Gumloop. Say that 3 times fast. Gumloop and ServiceNow. So Gumloop has raised $50 million in a Series B funding round led by Benchmark. The company aims to empower non-technical employees to automate repetitive tasks using AI agents with a focus on ease of use and model agnostic flexibility. And the humans will need lots of agents because according to ServiceNow's CEO, AI agents could easily send college grad unemployment over 30%. Check out this clip from CNBC.
I think it's very natural to be concerned about jobs. I think young people coming out of university today is like 9% unemployment. I think it could easily go into the mid-30s in the next couple of years.
The mid-30s?
I do.
So, Chad, we've got agents galore. Aside from the ServiceNow CEO looking like every cocaine dealer ever on Miami Vice, what are your thoughts on all this agent talk and unemployment?
Yeah, the CEO over Gumloop, I think it was, actually said they get addicted. The users actually get addicted. They start building more agents, and then all of the sudden, the whole company is AI native. Let's face it, companies like Gumloop are incredibly smart. They're having people pay them to build armies of agents that work inside of thousands of different platforms. For me, Gumloop watches the builds, then they move to offering the most popular agents for specific systems, and then they turn into an orchestration platform instead of just building agents. So Gumloop is already showing agents working in Slack, Asana, Linear, Airtable, Google Calendar, Monday.com, and many other platforms. So for me, this is crowdsourcing and think about it. If you have a bunch of people that use Monday.com every day and they know that there are process gaps or what have you, or things that can be automated, if I can, as a user, actually build something like that for myself, and then Gumloop can watch it happen inside of Monday.com, they can go ahead and take that robot and they can make it available to everybody and sell it.
Exact.
So it becomes an orchestration engine that was built by me, the fucking user who paid to build the fucking agent, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the guys at ServiceNow. Obviously, McDermott told CNBC that ServiceNow's tools will help businesses slash hiring costs, adding that the software firm has already taken out 90% of customer service use cases. Then Palantir's Alex Karp told CNBC that he wants to grow revenue by 10x while reducing headcount. And then obviously Amazon, go figure, Jassy, also wants to shrink its workforce by using AI tools. How are they going to do that? That's the question, right? And that's what we've seen with like the MIT survey where CEOs are like, this is not working. We're not getting the ROI. It all goes back to companies like Gumloop. That's how it fucking gets done. It's everything that's being built that goes in the background that takes all these tasks away. But Gumloop is smart enough to have me, the user, dumbass, paying for their platform and building their next gen product. I mean, it's fucking genius, man.
Dumbass.
The interesting thing that will unfold here is you have these AI tools, agent builders within companies, but you also have agent builders everywhere, like everywhere else. So we've seen Atlas, the browser. We see what Gemini's doing. So you're going to have a little bit of like email. Like I have my Gmail, my personal account that goes with me anywhere and everywhere. But then I have like my work email, and everything in that stays within work. So my initial thought would be like, why couldn't you just take all your agents you make in OpenAI or Gemini and just take it to every company that you work for? Of course, the problem with that is that the information is disparate. It doesn't necessarily fit in with what the company's objectives and goals are. So I do think there is going to be value in sort of this enterprise level agent that is outside of OpenAI or Gemini or anyone else, because if I can basically have an archive of all the agents that we've created in a company, all those agents are built for our individual company goals and tactics and whatever we do, right? Mm-hmm. So whereas if you brought one in from the outside, it may not fit like a glove with what we do here internally. Plus, if it's internal, you're training all your coworkers, some that aren't even at the company yet, on how to do certain jobs and how to get agents to do these jobs. If it's a passport where you just bring it in and out with you as you leave, that's less valuable to a company. So I do think these services that are enterprise level agents and how you build those and how you coordinate that with fellow employees, there is going to be a market for that. Now, do the big guys, Anthropic, et cetera, create sort of like enterprise level companies? And you go, well, the Claude agent is going to be way better than the Gumloop agent, so we're going to go with that. I think that's left to be determined. But as a general sort of consensus, I get that having an enterprise level agent makes sense for companies. On the ServiceNow side, I mean, it's very popular for Silicon Valley types to say everyone's going to be unemployed and we don't need to save for retirement, and UBI is going to be everywhere and anywhere. And there's been a lot of articles recently about the connection between saying such things and making AI related layoffs and stock value. So you get like a Block, you get a Meta, and when they make these announcements, the street usually likes it and improves stock prices and values. I do think directionally he's right, though. I mean, unemployment rate between like college level, entry level job age is going to 8%. The amount of underemployed in the US anyway is like 40%. So even the ones that aren't employed are taking lesser roles than their degree apparently got them, that they got. So short term, I think there is pain. Longer term, and this goes back to us talking about vibe coding and Alexander Chukovski stuff. Like, if people can create new companies, new services, solutions, like there's going to be more businesses, and AI is creating more problems to help that we need to solve. So I think longer term, think about, Chad, when we were coming up in the 90s in Lieven, what it costs to make a website. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? You had developers and servers and like all that stuff is gone. All you need is an idea and you can make software. So I think short term pain is going to be there, but I think there are going to be new businesses spread out from these kids that aren't getting jobs that will create more jobs in the future. I think we just have to eventually get there. Lieven, your thoughts?
Well, I love the whole idea about enabling people to automate the boring stuff and to give them the tools to create these flows and to get them to spend some time on stuff they actually like doing. But in this case, I totally agree with what Chet was saying. You're just giving your knowledge away to a company who is going to create tools and they can duplicate them forever and sell them to everyone else. So basically, you are trying to make me build my own replacement. And you're going to commercialize my replacement. It reminds me of Shutterstock. You know the story probably. Shutterstock, the biggest image database in the world. Yeah. They got hundreds of thousands of designers, and all those people were freelancers, and they sold their images to Shutterstock, and then Shutterstock could sell them to users. Yeah. And suddenly Shutterstock saw it coming, and they sold the whole database with images to ChatGPT for 170 million euros. And then ChatGPT was able to create its own images using that database to study on. And so now nobody ever uses Shutterstock anymore because you just ask ChatGPT. So they're going broke, but also those tens of thousands of designers are going broke. It's a disaster. So in this case, Shutterstock sold it. They saw it coming. They got the money and they'll figure out something else. But it's the poor people who didn't realize that what was happening, they lost their job. I think this is happening again and again. And the best will stay working and they will design even better flows and even better agents. But all those mediocre profiles will lose their jobs.
I mean, every app store that's ever been made is built to basically steal all the best ideas and, of course, bring them into your organization. So read the fine print on these. I'm sure these enterprise tools will have to have something that says we won't sell or it all stays with you. But yeah, for now, I'd say that is a risk for sure. They
won't sell, but they'll see the IDs and they'll see what is popular and how it works, and they'll come up with something similar.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's you can't stop it. It's happening. So just make sure you're the best. I always tell my students, some of you will get screwed, but the best will stay. Yeah. So be the best.
Well, guys, you'll never get screwed listening to the Chad and Cheese. So make sure you, if you like what you've heard, plug in, get the feed from us on whatever your favorite podcast platform of choice is. You can also check us out on YouTube. We'll be right back.
Done. I think we'll cover speed and hiring.
Did somebody say speed? Then buckle up, boys. You're about to learn how to hire fast.
Who is that?
Vetty Betty. From Vetty, the hiring acceleration platform. Come on, man, keep up. What's up, Betty?
Hey, Chad. Vetty makes high compliance hiring easy. Background checks, licensing verifications, and health screenings, all in one place. Real-time updates, no red tape, and no delays. Hiring managers can move fast, stay smooth, and close the deal.
So they just sit back and watch. Hell, I could watch this all day.
That's right. Relax, enjoy the view, and don't lose the hire. It's that simple. With Vetty, it's all taken care of before they can even catch their breath.
Best lesson ever.
Class dismissed, boys. Vetty. Hiring as it should be. Visit vetty.co to learn more.
Guys, let's go big picture for a second. Microsoft and 22 retired U.S. military leaders came out in support of Anthropic's lawsuit against the Trump administration's Pentagon designation of the AI company as a, quote, supply chain risk. This followed Anthropic's refusal to allow unrestricted military use of its Claude model, prompting a ban on federal use. A court hearing is set for later this month. Chad, a lot to digest there. Your thoughts?
Okay, so big question is, what has this got to do with hiring? If you're a vendor in the TA and HR space and your clients are government contractors, you have a problem. For better understanding, there are roughly 109,000 to 200,000 unique firms that receive federal contract awards annually. And then there's a rough estimate of another 80,000 companies who are on the subcontracting side. So if you're a vendor in the hiring and talent management space and you're using Claude in your products, this is a what the fuck moment, right? Yes, you can switch models, but some are just better in certain areas than others. So if your platform is going to perform as well with another LLM, no. Not, I mean, you choose what's best for whatever feature or process you're trying to put in place. And in many cases, that's Claude. So do vendors move away from Claude entirely, or do they have a different setup with a not as good substitute for government contractors? So there are wrinkles that are popping up with AI on the daily. And just when you think it doesn't touch you, what did the five fingers say to the face? Slap.
There might be a wee problem, boys.
Yeah, I'm sure the bourbon business didn't expect banning in Canada when they gave money to Trump.
Unintended consequences.
There's a long storied history of governments going against businesses, and governments usually win. Unfortunately, if you've seen the movie Aviator about Howard Hughes, his Spruce Goose was government, and they decided to give him the big smack. There's also a lesser known movie called Tucker, Chad, about a car company that was developed, and the car lobby basically squashed that business as
Jeff
the government
Bridges,
came out against that. Jeff Bridges, yes. It's a good movie. Good movie. It's probably streaming somewhere. And look, the Trump administration is a special kind of vindictive. Look, there was some positives on this for sure. They became the number one used app in app stores. They brand recognition. A lot of people know Anthropic that didn't know Anthropic before this whole Trump dilemma. And if Trump was in his first sort of go around, I would be much more worried about Anthropic than I am in a second term of Trump. Look, I would bet more that in 8 months or whatever, when November hits, that he'll have a lot less power and be a lame duck. And a lot of these things are going to go by the wayside. Then I would think that he's going to, that he's going to have a majority in the House going into next year. So I think Anthropic, the history lesson on this is going to be good for them. I think more or less anyone that is in the Trump sort of universe is toxic, and they're going to get thrown into the wood chipper. And we've already seen a lot of administration, the people from Mike Pence and on, that get thrown in the wood chipper. So I think they're probably going to be on the right side of history, which historically doesn't happen. I think Microsoft has financial reason to come out in support. I also think Microsoft sees that Trump is on the lame duck side of his presidency. So they have a financial reason to support, but also I think politically they're not going to get hit too much. I think the Trump administration is going to have a lot to deal with after November with impeachment trials and who knows what to worry about contracts with Anthropic.
Yeah, if these companies don't step up now to be able to defend this type of action, it could come against them.
Lieven, any thoughts?
I think this isn't going to make the European policymakers more positive about using foreign large language models for high-risk activities like hiring or firing people. They're already very anxious. They call hiring people a high-risk activity when it concerns using AI. And if you hear these kinds of stories, then I think they're going to try to switch as fast as possible to something like Mistral, the French version of a French large language model, or maybe new ones coming up, supported by European government, I think.
Yeah.
And Anthropic is supposed to be the ethical large language model. The others are worse. At least they claimed to be ethical.
And they've captured that brand by saying we're going to say no to our shit being used to kill people and blow shit up. So, I mean, good on them. It may not work as well for Palantir. I mean, Palantir historically may be the bad guys. In this story.
Very much.
They never even claim to be good.
Yeah.
Just openly kill everybody.
Sure. We do it more efficient than the others. So
the checks are clearing. Let's go. Let's go, baby. And Chad, you and I talked about recently on the show about embracing European technologies and getting those out of the government contracts.
That's really Trump.
And Mistral is a great example of technology in France, right? France is Mistral's France. So there are examples that can take hold. So we'll see. It's either like we're American, Chinese, or we're going to try to build our own and prop up our own companies. Future's interesting, guys. May we live in interesting times.
No, boring times. Let's take a quick break, guys.
Leave us a review, guys. Give us a star, whatever. Little words of wisdom.
Lots of stars.
Whether you love us or hate us, we love the feedback. We'll be right back.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the application to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're going to need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
All right, guys. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Codewall's autonomous AI agent exploited 4 seemingly harmless bugs in the Jack and Jill hiring platform, gaining admin access and probing its AI defenses. The agent demonstrated unexpected behavior, including social engineering and masquerading as one of our favorite people on the show, Donald Trump, to gain access to company data. This experiment highlights the potential for AI agents to become proficient at hacking other AI agents, posing a significant threat to cyber security. In case you missed it, Jack and Jill is a job search employment agent for companies to use to hire. Chad, your thoughts on the breach of Codewall?
Yeah, I mean, attention founders, your burn rate's about ready to go through the fucking roof. The days of quarterly security checks are going to be as effective as a screen door in a submarine. I mean, if your AI is always on, the hackers' AI is always on. You're going to have to buy defensive AI just to babysit your product AI so that it doesn't get gaslit into giving away the API keys by a Donald Trump impersonator, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to admit it. It's a beautiful racket. The VCs fund the fire. They also fund the extinguisher, and founders become the middlemen burning cash in the center of the room. It does not, being a founder right now with shit like this happening does not seem like it's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's funny as you read the story, when Jack, the hiring agent, knew that it was Donald Trump, actually addressed it as Mr. President. So the LLM actually connected the fact that Donald Trump is Mr. President. Also, Anthropic uses Jack and Jill, apparently. So we're sort of coming full circle on this Anthropic thing. Just a little endorsement for them. I'm not a paid sponsor or paid spokesman for them. In fact, I don't think I liked their business when we talked about them on the show. So we talk about businesses and opportunities are created because of problems. Yeah. Well, here's a problem, kids. The AI is going to, with scale, hack your shit, find weaknesses, and take advantage of those. all that creates new opportunities for businesses and technologies to fight those things.
Yeah.
So we talk about the unemployment rate and taking jobs, et cetera. Like humans are going to have problems to solve forever. And AI is creating new problems that we've never had before. Enter this problem of getting hacked. Every company that has a forward-facing solution is going to get hacked, is going to the bots are going to come in. North Koreans, I mean, it's going to be like mass hysteria, and you're going to need tools to figure out how to protect yourself. And this is an example of that. This was not a hack. This was not a breach. This was a friendly sort of exercise. So we don't mean to sort of put any more importance than we need to, but these things are going to happen to you if they're not already, and you need to be prepared for it and have the tools to protect yourself. Lieven, I'm sure you guys get attacks quite often, whether they're friendly or not. What can you tell us?
Nothing at all. We keep quiet about it, and it didn't happen. Yeah. But talking about Jack and Jill, I was surprised, in fact, that the whole Codewall stuff was published, because I was actually testing Jack and Jill, and our CIO, my colleague, was enthusiastic about it. He liked the whole idea. But after the hack, I mean, reputation damage is real. And we don't want to get involved with companies that are hacked so easily. Not sure if it was easy, but so publicly. So we'll look into it twice now. I just wondered, Joel, you just said it was a nice and friendly hack or something. Not sure what words you used, but it was something like that. It wasn't
like a white hat, you could call it, I guess.
It
was
a controlled test. Controlled test,
yeah. But normally controlled tests are something you keep
under your hat.
Yeah, it's a test. It's pen testing, penetration testing, but you don't publish the results if they're not good. And in this case, I mean, reputation damage must be huge. So this was my first thought when I read it.
That is a great point.
The whole AI stuff is of course amazing, and we use lots of tests to constantly try to find weaknesses in our own systems. So for pen testing, it's great, but the bad guys use it as well, and they probably are better at it than some others.
It's a great point. I don't know what agreement they had to publish this stuff, if it was part of the reason why they would do it. But you're right. If anyone that goes to Google and says, "Is Jack and Jill safe to use?" or tell me about Jack and Jill, ultimately this is going to come up. Yep. And people, whether it was a breach or controlled or whatever, they're going to automatically say, "Uh-oh, great red flag. Not you. You know, I'm not going to use Jack and Jill because of their history with this kind of stuff."
But we are attacked constantly, Joel, really constantly each day. And sometimes they get a bit further, but until now we've always been able to stop them. And we never had actual ransomware active, but it's a matter of months, years, I don't know, it's happening. Here in Belgium, we had a few big hospitals which were totally unable to work for days because of ransomware. It's evil. And they're coming for their money where it is. So I think they're just going to attack big companies, and it's like a lottery.
And look, historically, the job search space is ground zero for scams because people are vulnerable. People are, they're desperate, and scammers will come out.
Lots of it.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the number of bots that are contacting people to interview for jobs and getting data from them. And there's a whole level of evil in our space that is unique to us historically, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the good thing is we have a very big team working on cybersecurity. They're very active, and they're constantly training people to be aware, to be vigilant. So I think maybe those hackers will try to find a target which is easier to penetrate, and they'll leave us alone.
I think that's the point, Lieven. Yeah. I think that's the point, is that you guys are a bigger organization. You are focused heavily on, obviously being able to deter these types of attacks. And the only way you can do that is actually have teams to be able to be, very vigilant around this, where a lot of these new companies like a Jack and Jill, they just
launched a product and they weren't thinking about security in the first place.
They spent money on getting the MVP, not on protection.
Of course.
Right. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Burn rate for these founders. They're going to have to actually spend a lot more money on protection, defense AI is what they're calling it, instead of just sitting back and trying to do these quarterly audits.
Yeah, but it's such a waste of energy and money
It
if
is.
you have to spend it on such a thing. But
But
you
as
have to,
Joel had
you have
said,
to.
AI is going to create
New
problems.
jobs.
And it's going to create cottage industries. It's going to create a lot of different things.
Well, guys, speaking of working round the clock, our crack team of dad joke experts have come up with a real doozy this week.
Is this from Jeremy too?
No. He's taking a break this week. What do you call an Irishman who bounces off walls? What do you call an Irishman who bounces off walls? Rick O'Shea.
Oh,
Rick O'Shea.
That was good.
That was good, right?
Okay.
Happy St.
very
Patrick's Day. Pass the Tylenol. We out.
We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chadcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!